Okay, so last time we worked on the mouth and the bottom part of the nose. We've got the bridge of the nose pinched at the top. So now we gotta do the eyes. And the most important part about the eyes is to make sure you got it curved out on both sides. And now, I like to have the base of the eye, or the platform of the eye, a flat surface. So what I do is I take a V tool in there and I work it this way and then I work it that way in order to get a flat surface. And that allows me to get a nice flat surface in order to formulate how I'm going to do my eye. So in order to design and put in the eye, a female eye, a younger person, and particularly female, you'll notice that the eye has a slant at least straight or a little bit up on the outside. Typical male has his eye, it sinks down on the outside, it's lower. But a female, it's going to be higher. Okay? So try and keep that in mind when you're at least level, if not higher. And that's just the way Eldon has drawn this, to give you that clue that it's a female and the eyes are a little bit different than the males. So start by putting in dots. Try and get them relatively close. And then straight out, more or less flat eye. We don't want to have it curved on the outside because it's a female. So that's relatively pretty close. So then we're going to have to create a curve on the top and a curve on the bottom. So find a gouge about a number 5 or a number 7 and try and get that curve in there. I'll see what I can find first. Okay, so I'm going to use a number 7, 5 millimeter, and I'm going to, this happens to work out pretty close, and this will likely be in your face there. So I'm going to line it up so I get one edge on one side, one edge on the other side. And just rock it back and forth. And does that show up?
Yep.
So when you do one side, you're still hanging on to the gouge in a particular shape, so that will give you the clue that as to how it should go on the other side. So get it positioned just so. So there's the next one. And now you got to be careful you don't pop that piece out. Alright? So we're going to take it gentle, and this works better upside down. Am I still okay there?
Yep.
Right about there?
Yep.
Put the corner in there. That didn't come out as good. Okay, so you're going to take your knife and you're going to just deepen each corner. Remember, the eye has to be rounded, so we're going to deepen each corner just a little bit. Make those count in the corner. Turn it over. Still okay, Tom?
Yep.
All right, so now we've got it. We've got the general shape, so now just pop out the corners. Turn it over. Still okay?
Yep.
That one there is loose.
Yeah, I see that.
A little bit of CA glue on there will solve that problem.
So you actually take the piece out and then glue it, or how do you?
Oh no, I would just dab it right where it is.
Otherwise, how do you hold that little wee tiny piece?
Yeah, you never get it back. You have to just leave it there.
So how's that look? Pretty good?
Oh, yeah, it looks really good.
It does.
Yep, looks
Yeah.
good.
All right.
You want to show me on mine?
No. So you can see that the eyes there are quite a bit darker, and that's because I put a dab of CA glue on just so that they don't pop out. Once you put pressure, you put a cut on one side and then put pressure on the other side, it tends to want to move that eyeball and knock it out. So be prepared for a little bit of CA glue. Okay, so in order to make the top eyelid fit over top of the bottom eyelid, put your knife in like that and then just remove a little sliver of that right there. So can you see the shadow line in there? So that makes the eye look like the top eyelid goes over the bottom eyelid. Next we'll do the eyelids themselves. I like to use I use this little where are we? This little V tool that is like that, and it would be about a 2mm V tool. I like the flex cut one because it's got more of a sharp angle down at the V itself. So I start on the outside and turn it on its side. So I can create that shape. So I want a flat surface on the top, and I want it to end up right in the corner. Now I got way too much cheek here. I'm going to have to pare that down in time, but in the meantime I can create the bottom eyelid simply by coming in there and removing just a little bit of the material, just to give it the hint of a bottom eyelid. Still in there, yes. And start it right in tight there. Okay. I'll have to remove that little bit of pencil mark in there in time. I'll stop there. So the side of the face and the cheek in here is way too big. It's more like a Santa Claus bulbous face, and we want to massage that so that it's nice and round. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the number 5 7mm, and you can see that it fits pretty well right across. I likely got a better one at home that would work better, but I'm going to just start to kind of massage that a little bit. Start with one cut and then turn the gouge so that I can start to create that nice round shape. I'm working from the outside in. And you see it's starting to take shape now. That's likely good enough for now. So now I've gotten a nice smooth surface in there compared to the other side. So if we want to work on the chin and the jaw area, so you can see here that the shape of that is established, and mine is pretty close to being that shape. And then the side profile, you see that the jaw comes down and goes around, okay, and so that going down and around creates the jaw that comes back and sometimes disappears underneath the ear. Well, she's got hair all over her ear here, so we've got to create that same scenario. So if you take a look at that that curvature in there, we're just going to try and create that same shape in here. So without me going too much detail there, it gives you, so we're going to make it a little bit bulbous on the bottom of the chin, and then come back around. In order to do that, you got to take the material out from underneath here.
So you use the hair corner there as a guide to what's going on?
Well, yeah, you could use that, yeah. The hair is going to be whatever shape you want to give it in the end. I'll stop it there. I'll use a high-sided gouge on that. Okay, so there it is. I've hollowed out underneath there, and you can see that I've shaped it somewhat. I could likely bring the jaw up even a little bit further in towards the neck, but until I shape the hair, I don't know quite where that is going to be. So try and get it matched on both sides, round over the chin, and get a bit of a hollow coming up underneath. Now, the more of a hollow that you get, the younger the person is going to be. If you think of us older guys, we have this kind of turkey flab, you know, the thing that comes down underneath our neck here, whereas a younger person doesn't have that.
It's almost closer to a vulture than
Yeah, well, we won't call it a vulture. We've addressed the bottom here so that we've got a chin relatively established, but now you can see, at least on mine, that the forehead is really too bulbous. There's too much of a forehead here, so I want to trim that down, and I'm going to use this number 5 7mm upside down like yay, in order to start shaving that down. So I'll go ahead and do that, and then I'll show you again. So the first sweep through, you can see where I've lightened up the sharpness of her brow, and so that I can create a better chance of giving her her eyebrows in here eventually. All right, so then you're going to have to start to par it down to get rid of some of that material. So you can start to see that now I'm starting to curve the top part of the head into the hair a little bit more. Looks like the brow is still a little bit heavy there, so I might just take that down just a bit more. Next, I'm going to take a V-tool, and I'm going to use the V-tool in here to start giving me the shape I want. We'll get rid of many of the sharp angles or edges as you can. Come back in and massage things just a little bit so that you get rid of those sharp edges. Okay, we'll leave it at that. So now we got to work on her hair, so it becomes critical at this point as to what kind of a hairdo you want to give her. Did you want to have it full and come all down over top of her ear? Did you want to have a flip in it? The top here, where do you want to have the part, or do you want to have a part? Do you want to have it flipped all over? I think I'll follow more or less what the diagram says here. And you can see even with Eldon's that he has had it raised more on one side than on the other. You know, hair is however you want to make it. So don't be afraid to mess around with that. I typically use a V-tool to decide where the separation is gonna be. I will give her a part so that there is a part in it. So, I gotta maintain the edges here until such time as I've decided what I'm gonna have, but I can start to give it, that separation in where the forehead goes up. And, just like you would with a man. Get a little bit of a V going in there.
You went down almost to the forehead, right?
Yeah, it goes right down to the forehead, that's right. All right, so I'll leave it at that, and then I'm gonna take my big gouge and just start messing around. So I'll use this big 5mm, or number 5 20mm to start shaping it, and I'll use it upside down to give me the shape I need. So I'm working just on the front of the hair now, just to give it a general shape. I'll round everything off first. Notice that I'm not just pushing the gouge, I'm sweeping the gouge as I'm going along here. If you put that slight turn in it, it just kind of makes it work a lot easier. So I'm getting the general shape on the front of the head.
So you don't work from the side into the center?
It doesn't, whatever
way the grain works.
whatever strikes my fancy, yeah.
Yeah,
So if you catch the grain, you'll split the piece right
yeah,
up.
that's what I was.
I'm gonna be moving around on you here, Tom.
Oh, you got it pretty good.
Well, you can see she's got a pretty full head of hair there already, hasn't she? Doesn't, so whatever shape you want to give it, I mean it can come up and go over. I'm not much of a hairdresser, but you can see that you can mess around with this quite a bit. And give her a part maybe.
Somebody comes to you for a haircut, you pull out the chisels and gouges.
That's the intent, is to scare them off before they even
Blockhead.
You don't want to do the job. Make sure you screw it up the first time really bad.
The forehead goes back.
That's better than a ball.
The forehead goes back under the hair.
Old age.
I won't.
In the middle you're talking about.
I won't do too much as far as I won't use a knife in there. I use a V-tool all the time because I want to get nice flow to it. I don't want to have any sharp edges, but as I clean up, I will come back and clean it up and use a V-tool in the notch later. So I'm just creating a ball brush section here just to get my hair going.
Oh, a girl never get balls, so make sure you don't make a ball.
Oh, yes, they do. My sister-in-law is bald. She's got lupus, and part of the problem with lupus is you lose your hair. All right, so what we do, give her a bit of a sweep here, I guess. So right away now you can start to see whatever shape you want to give her. If you want to have a flip, maybe we can give her a flip on the other side, just to be different. Typically your hair is rounded at the back, and not very many square hairdressers out there. That looks like it's straight down, and I guess you could leave it that way. I like the idea of it curved in a bit. Yeah, something like that. So on the other side, let's mess around with it a bit. I mean, if you don't like it, I mean, you can always come back and and change it up. That's what we got hairdressers for, isn't it?
Glue some curls on it.
Hair
Well-
extension.
Harold Inlow showed me how to do a girl that had a perm. And it was most interesting. You do little bulbous things, little hunks, bulbous here and there, and then put the curls in afterwards. Kind of neat, actually. Yeah, so now that's got to flip, doesn't it? So in order to make it flip, I got to get rid of some wood in here. What was the Jackie O? Didn't Jackie
Onassis, yeah.
Onassis? Didn't she have a little flip in her hair sometime?
Yeah.
Get a little bit of a curl coming up.
That's
So, that's kind of, how you can address it. No reason why that wouldn't work. And she's got quite a head of hair. So, like, as you can see in the finished one here, you gotta get that little cap in there, don't you? So, the little cap can start to work there. I'll get a bigger V-tool so I can get a flatter edge. So just, I don't know. You gotta go in, you gotta find it. Helps if you have a V-tool in your hand instead of a gouge. And you see the cap starting to come there?
You're gonna have to bring that cap back again. Have you still got it?
Oh yeah, it's still there.
Well, you can be modeling for the rest of us, put your uniform on.
Yeah, you had a cap, Richard.
Long gone.
Yeah, but you gotta put that, what was it, a short skirt or something you said that you got penalized for? You gotta put that on too. Yeah, I found
She had
that.
a mini
That's
skirt
long
on.
gone.
I found, yeah,
Maryland, when you were younger, that was the fashion.
That's right.
And it was okay as long as they didn't sit down.
Or bend over.
Or bend over.
I found that very
Too
amusing.
much of anything.
Back to 70, early 70, that's a mini skirt.
Okay, so you see what I'm doing there? I'm using that, my favorite gouge. I mean, I can do so much with that. So it gives me the angle I need for that shape there. Okay, so now it's just a question of making the roundness on the back. Once you get this shape here established, then you just have to make the roundness in the back in here. Pretty straightforward actually. So now I'm just gonna stop it. I get the curvature going one way.
Looks easy.
And I got the curvature going in, so I've got the edge started here. Start to hollow out in behind it. All end grain, so it's a bit difficult. And then you go back to my favorite gouge again and just create that bun that's on the back of the head. Right? It's just like sculpting in clay. Anyway, that kind of gives you the idea that there's no limit to what you want to do for the hair, and then create that shape up there. So use your imagination, and I'll just turn that around so you get a bit better view of it. The only part that has to remain symmetrical is the hat. The rest of it can be whatever shape you want to make it. You know, it doesn't, there's no rule there. All right, but cover up her ear, okay, and when you've got the hair all shaped, then you can continue on with the neck and where the jawline comes in. Okay?
So we're not doing ears?
No ears.
No ears.
Boy, gotta make it easy for you. Good enough?
If you do pop from the air,
So there we are with the hairdo. So I'll wheel that around so you can see that on one side I've just got an ordinary kind of a bun type hair. I'm not quite sure what you call that. And continue it around the back side, and then it starts to go into a bit of a flip. And come up a little bit here. And then she's got a real flip on the one side, like yay. So it's kind of effective. So now the bun on the top there, the hat is kind of shaped. Got it roughed out anyway. Give you an idea of how it kind of works in there. All right, I'll pass it around.